But sometimes I put questions before the Lord for answers for the people of God, because all the time you wonder if you are actually doing what's need to be done in order to help people move from one place in God to another.
Yes.
And to come into the knowledge and strength of God, whereby they can operate and flow in a way that they are strong in Him. They understand who they are in Him and the purpose of God. And then our approach is, okay, God, if we put these questions before you, give us answers, are we really hearing with the clarity of what God is saying for the people of God? And then after you've ministered or you've delivered that word, no matter who you are, whether it's instruction, whether it's preaching, whether it's teaching, whatever assignment you've been given that assignment because you are well equipped. Not because I chose you, but because God has faith in you. And the result of that is the fruits that are born by the people receiving the word. So the word is of none effect. The word is no good if there is no fruit that is born or that you bear based on the word that you have received. Y'all follow me so far? Yeah. So if you receive a word, there should be some evidence that you received it based on your response.
Amen.
Not by just amens or accolades, but based on the fruit that comes out of that. Right. So if you was operating one way and you received that word, and that word affects you, or that word gets a part of you and you're a part and you receive it, you then bear fruits because there's a change as a result of what you was and now what you have become. Right. So if you did not have faith in yourself, or you did not have faith in anything, and we preached on faith and we preached on the word of the Lord, or we taught the word of the Lord concerning faith, one step at a time you begin to operate in faith, and you really don't know you're operating in it until the fruits are born out of it. Because there was a time when you trusted God, but you really didn't know how to trust Him. You said you trust Him, you said you believed Him, but there was no fruits coming out of it. So you can say one thing, but nothing ever takes place. So it's just words. They are empty and they fall to the ground. So one thing can trigger in you. Everybody has triggers. Look at somebody say trigger. You know, if you use the last episode we seen on Facebook of even with our dear brother and his son, there are triggers.
Right.
I'm not going to be able to teach this if y'all don't listen intently, because it's going to challenge us in some ways, because we use certain terms loosely. We say stuff. So there's certain triggers in us, and that trigger will determine how we respond. So if I speak something, it should trigger something in you, and your response should bear fruit.
Come on, yes.
So I can't say that I love you and then treat you a certain way. Because love exudes something that is defined in full form.
Yes.
Okay, so when we look at John, the book of John, or the Gospel of John, chapter 15, I want to deal with a subject that says, can we be friends?
Oh.
It is a term that's used so loosely. For some of us, it's a very serious term when I say, you're my friend.
Right.
You know. And in defining friend, you can't even use, I'm going to stand in one spot.
You fine.
In defining friend, I cannot even use the word acquaintance. Because acquaintance still speaks to being friend.
Right.
So I'm aware of you, but I don't know you.
Come on.
That's good.
You're not even an acquaintance. We are co-workers.
Right.
We ain't friends.
Right.
You're following me. It's a difference. Now, only certain people can understand what I'm getting ready to say. Even when you are locked up together, incarcerated behind bars, there is a certain camaraderie. There is a certain friendship established with men who are in the same predicament. They can't break from it, so they have to now depend on one another. And alliances take place. You know, of those that are incarcerated versus those who have incarcerated them. So as much as I may not like you, but I'm incarcerated with you,
Come on.
I dislike the CO even more. Which is the correctional officer. Which is the one that tell me when I got to go to bed, when I can eat, get in your bumps, stop talking, no you can't play cards today, so forth, so on. And it's an example of how friendships are developed based on circumstance, situation. But you cannot understand that because now there is an acquaintance. There is something I can determine. There is something I can relate to because I know what you're going through because we're in the same boat. So when you talk about can I be your friend, we're using this terminology because we're about to embark on something in that we're going in an environment whereby we really don't know them like that. Well, I know them. Y'all don't really know them like that. But it's the fact of we say we are family.
Right.
And now you have to begin to question yourself, how do you really view family? Based on your own personal family. Because your definition of family and my definition of family may be two different definitions. Based on my upbringing with my family. And there's certain usage of terminology that some people use to try to give themselves more weight based on your definition and mine. So just because your father wasn't in the house don't mean I don't know how to father.
Come on, bring
And just because your father was in the house don't mean you know how to father. Because your definition of a father may not have been the best example. And the only real example you have on how to father comes from him, the father. And so though he was not physically there or a man was not in place, the Spirit of God has a way of teaching you how to father based on who he is as God the Father. So I cannot say that because you didn't have a father in the house, you can't father. That don't even make sense because I got a son. But my son will not go through what I went through without a father because though he's not in the same house, I'm going to always be present. And so though he cannot see me, he knows me. You follow?
You talking good, sir.
John chapter 15, can we be friends? Look at somebody just say, can we be friends? It's a twist to it. It's a real twist to this because when I was reading and I was saying, God, the Lord was showing me the difference between friends, servants, and sons. And when I get through with this, as best I can, because I'm trying to be good today. I promise I'm trying not to holler at y'all.
Have your way, Holy Ghost.
But and from this passage, he was saying there's a difference between friends, servants, and sons. And when I saw that, he was showing that friendship and servanthood is almost interchangeable. But when you look at sonship, we have put such a high definition of sonship that we miss friendship. When it comes to God. Okay. All right. So, y'all ready?
Yes.
Y'all go with me on it best we can. John chapter number 15, starting at verse number 10. Verse number 10. Okay. It says this. If you keep my commandments, ye shall abide in me. You shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you that my joy might remain in you and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Y'all following me so far?
Yes.
Greater love, this is where we're going to pull our text from. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. This is Jesus talking to the disciples. Henceforth I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends. For all things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. Ye have not chosen me, but I have chosen you.
Yes.
And ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it you, because you are my friends. That part on the end, because you are my friends, is not in there. But he says, whatever you ask the Father, he's going to give it you, because preceding he said, I no longer call you servants, but you're my friend.
Sir.
Jesus said there's no greater love than this, than a man that will lay down his life for his friends. He said, you didn't choose me, I chose you. You mean to tell me, including Judas?
Yes. Chosen.
Yes.
You chose him and you called him your friend. If you can ever catch the revelation of the Judas in your life and stop calling them your enemy and know they are your friends because you chose them, but they had purpose. Even though it didn't work out the way you thought, it still pushed you to your destiny because it was their duty and they were anointed to betray you.
Yeah.
My God.
Thank you, God.
And we look at betrayal as a bad thing, but betrayal will push you to a place where you're supposed to be, not where you think you should be.
Right.
Come on, sir.
It'll get you there.
It'll get you there. It'll get you there. He said, so I chose you. You are my friends. He says, and if you keep my commandments, whatever you ask the Father will give to you because of that. And then these things I command you, that you love one another. Can you say amen?
Amen.
All right, so let's I want to open up. Can I come out of this jacket? I got hot.
Yes.
Let us start out with saying in verse 10 he says if you keep my commandments and you will abide in my love. That word commandments, it is how we have to look at it. It means to command. So if we're going to be friends, the first thing you must understand is that there is a direct authority and orders that be given and that has a control of authority over you.
Thank you, Father.
So you're saying that if we're going to become friends, there's certain reciprocal authorities and control we give each other to one another. There's certain liberties you have as a result of being free that other people can't. Some things you can joke with me about, others can't joke with me about. Certain things you can do with me, others cannot do with me because they don't have the same right or authority or control over who I am in their life. In other words, we have an understanding that there's certain things about us that nobody else can do. I can't kick it with you that way I'm gonna kick it with another. So if you're gonna be my friend, I give you the right to check me.
Right.
Y'all doggone it. If you're gonna really be my friend, I give you the right to be honest with me. And you know how people say, well, I'm gonna stand with them even if they're wrong. No, I'm not. Because if I'm your friend and you're wrong, I'm checking you. I'm not gonna let you keep going on along the way and buddy up with you and try and say, well, I'm protecting you and I don't care what nobody say, I'm gonna help you. If you murder someone, I'm with you. No, baby, you were dead wrong and you got to own that. Because if I'm gonna really be your friend, I can't lie to you. I can't make you feel like what you did was right because now I enable you and I push you to a place where you cannot be the best of what God wants you to be. So if you're going to be my friend, you got to be real. Like I said, at least be real with me. Don't play with me. At least be honest with me. Don't just joke with me. I don't care what position you hold. I don't care what title you have. I don't care who you say you are. You have to be accountable to your friendship. And if you don't like me correcting you, you can't be my friend because you want me to lie to you and I ain't rolling like that. Now, there are some folks, they just want to buddy up to you and be that way and feel like everything's okay and won't ever tell you your breath stink, won't ever tell you you don't look good, won't tell you you shouldn't wear that outfit, don't want to be real with you. But I need people that's going to be honest with me because if you are honest with me, some things can change. Because if I can't trust nobody, I should be able to trust you.
All people.
Absolutely.
So, it is the word commandment. It comes from the Greek word diatagma, that which is imposed by a decree or a law. It is diatagma. So when Jesus says, if you keep my commandments, whatever I have decreed, whatever law has been put in place, spiritual or physical law, if you follow the principle of that law, then you will be able to be successful. You'll be able to operate. So when we talk about certain principles, when we say faith is a commandment, it is a law enacted by God. Faith does not come from us. Faith comes from God.
Yes.
So even when we move in our faith, we're moving in God's faith. Jesus told his disciples when he asked them about the fig tree, how did that happen? He says, have faith in God. The literal translation is have the faith of God. So even if I don't, see, this is where we miss it sometimes. Even man of God, if I don't have the faith, if I don't fully believe, if I have the faith of God, it has to take place because God can't deny himself. God can't lie to himself. So when God speaks a word, it has to take place because he is God. And whatever God says has to happen because God said it would. Because God cannot lie. So if God says I'm healed, I have to be healed because healing is only by the faith of God. That if he does it, I made it. So whatever is going wrong, I can fix it. And if the devil try to interfere in it, he can't because I override him because I made him too. Y'all ain't talking to me. If you want to know where the devil come from, he came out of God because God made it. I mean, that's just actually, we try to make the devil something that's outside of who God is when he resides in God.
Right.
Hell resides in God. Heaven resides in God. All authority, listen to what the word says, all authorities, whether in heaven, in earth, or in hell, they are up under God. In other words, that's why he told Jesus, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that you are Lord. You rule heaven, earth, and hell because you took back the keys to death, hell, and the grave. So if I'm going to be healed and be a friend of God and be a true friend, I got to understand that when he speaks something, I step into it, not on my own will, because I'm terrified. I don't even know what's about to happen. I'm scared to make that step. But if I just take the faith of God, see, sometimes I may be paralyzed, but if you ever saw somebody that was paralytic and they want to get somewhere, when that leg ain't acting right, they'll grab what is working and they'll throw that leg in there. See, sometimes you got to take something that is working, that's not working, and force it into position. Don't you let fear and unbelief stopping you from getting your miracle from God. Don't you let fear stop you from getting what God has blessed you with and promised you. If you can but push yourself in it, if you can but sprawl in it, I don't care if you got to get slapped into it, but whatever you need to do some kind of movement. Make a step. Look at somebody say, just step out the boat. The problem with the other disciples, they didn't even take a chance. They were too afraid to even step out of the boat. But if I sink, I just sink because he's the creator of all things. And if I fall, I fall. But at least I know he is there. That I'm not going to sink all the way and I ain't going to need his help. All I need him to do is say, come. That's all I need. All I need him to do is just take a moment and come. If he didn't move based on what he saw, he moved based on what he heard.
That's right.
That's it. He said, faith cometh by hearing. Thank you, Bishop. Help me preach now. He said, come. That's all you. I know the winds are blowing. I know it looks stormy. I know we got all the money. Some of you just step into it. Listen to me. I'm talking to me too. You step right into the business you've been waiting on because you're in bondage in something that you ain't happy with. You making a job, but it ain't a profession. You doing the work, but you ain't getting paid what you're valued. And at some point in your life, I don't care how old you are, you ain't too old for your dreams to be fulfilled. At some point, you got to make up in your mind, I'm sick of this, and I'm about to do something about it. I can't do it for you. God can't do it for you. You got to step out on faith and do it for yourself and let God do the rest. God ain't going to come down here and break up stuff and make it all happen. Oh, that sounds real good, but you need to put forth some effort. You need to put forth some work. Faith without works, that's what the Bible says. It is dead. It is unproductive. If I work at it, maybe it didn't work the first time, but maybe I need to put a business card together, some flyers together. Maybe I need to just start out little. But whatever I start out with, maybe 4, 5, or 6, but at least I put it in there. And next thing you know, your name will be abroad because you took the chance to trust God. And you said, God, can we just be
Friends.
Yes, sir.
It says command. So if you live in his commandment, if you allow me to have control and authority over what I decree over your life, you won't have so much trouble.
That's good, sir.
Talk, sir.
That's good. That is so good.
Jesus is not talking about the 10 commandments. He is talking to the 12 disciples he chose.
Yes.
And can I tell you something? Jesus, though he was all God, he was operating as a man.
That's right.
So when we say, Jesus, he knew all things. He wasn't operating like that. He was operating based on the knowledge they had, based on where the Father fed him. Y'all some folks don't like this part. Because we know who Jesus is, but the Bible says, listen, I was studying, and I'm going to have to do a teaching on it. I was studying when we talk about the sons of God, or the man, the son of man, when we talk about Jesus being God's son, we view it as being like if I was Bishop's son, which means Bishop had to get with a woman, and with that woman, he impregnated her, and impregnating her, she brought forth me.
Right.
Which makes me his son.
Right.
So when we look at Jesus being God's son, we almost try to do it the same way, because we say, Mary was conceived of the Holy Ghost, and then here comes Jesus. But the truth of the matter is, when God looks at it, God says the reason I call him son is because I'm God putting on human flesh that would make me man, so I'm something I have never been. So he is now my son.
Come on, son.
He's not my son because some woman birthed him. He's my son because he changed form.
Right.
That's right.
Come on, sir.
Though I am his son, I changed form. Because I have my personality, though I have his DNA. I changed form. I look like him, but I also look like my mama too. I'm not this spit. And and sometimes you have those sons like Swag and like myself and like Bishop, all of us. We have that one that is so resemble us that we call him our twin. But there is something different about him, that even though my son looks exactly like me or as close as possible, there are other features about him that makes him look like his mother also. So that's why we say that's our son. So when you see Lannice, you can see me just based on what you see. But personality comes out that though I'm not with him in the same house, he has the same DNA in him. So now he has the same attributes. He acts like me even when he doesn't know it. He likes certain things that even though he doesn't know it. He likes spinach dip with artichokes, and he didn't never know that that's one of my favorite appetizers. He carries himself away. He's short fused. Why? Because there are certain parts about him that came out of me. But yet he's on personality because he transformed as he came out the womb. He couldn't be exactly like me. I don't care how much junior I am. I cannot be exactly like my father, though I resemble him. So Jesus is not operating as God, or he violates his own law. He operates as man.
Yes.
Come on, sir. Come on.
So the father knew Judas was going to betray him. But Jesus knew he was going to betray him at the supper. Y'all ain't going to talk to me. Because he was operating based on revelation and that which was prophetic, that as he sat down, something he felt was not right. He says, one of my friends about to betray me. Y'all ain't talking to me. He didn't ever say Judas was his enemy. Even at the end, as it all went down, he told Judas, friend, where are you coming from? And whatever you're about to do, do it quickly. And Judas greeted him the same way. He always greeted him. And he kissed him. Y'all ain't looking at me. He kissed him the same way he kissed him before. But it was something about this kiss.
Yes.
Said sir.
What happens when friendship shifts and you don't even know it?
My God.
But the kiss was different. He knew something was about to happen by his friend.
It's good.
Enemies don't betray. Friends do.
Right. That's right. That's good.
Thank you, Bishop. Enemies don't betray. Y'all too saved to even know this. But hustle. If you Nipsey Hussle or Russell Hustle, Nipsey Hussle. Right. Yeah. Thank you, sis. Wait a minute. Hold on now.
Get a cheek.
But right, Nipsey. Because my point is, he had just had conversation
Yes.
with his friend.
Come on.
He was not betrayed by a rival gang member. His friend killed him.
Yes.
Who he was trying to help. Oh, y'all. And it all came out of because his friend got jealous of who he was. And he put him on, and Nipsey put him on Front Street. See, you're not a real friend if I can't tell you the truth.
Come on.
And some people can't handle truth.
Yeah.
They would rather kill you than the truth come.
My God.
He was distracted by their closeness.
Come on, sir.
Have you tested that closeness? You hear me? Have you tested it? Have you put yourself in a position that if we're going to be friends, there's some things you're going to know about me you got to keep to yourself.
Right.
I don't care how deep you are, how much you get this off of me. I need to be able to tell somebody. I just need to be able to vent about it. And I might say some stuff that you ain't feeling because you know you deep and you speaking and talking the whole time I'm talking. But I just need you to hear me right now because what I'm going through, I can't handle it. If I can't depend on you to be able to at least take it off me, then what kind of freedom are you? I ain't gonna be speaking. I might be cussing right now, but whatever I'm doing, I just need you to be right there for me. I need you to understand where I am. I'm not in church. I'm not in the Bible. I'm losing stuff now. I'm not in the Word, but I'm in a position that if you don't rescue me, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I don't get this off me, it might be homicide or suicide, but something gonna take place. You follow me? Can we just be free? So he says, keep my commandments. So if I decree a thing, if I speak a thing, I need you to be able to live in that.
Right.
He said, he says, I gotta get through this, God. I get caught up all the time. He says, if you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love.
Yes.
Because what that does is, if long as you're operating in my authority, your love will be in the right perspective.
Yes.
Let's deal with that love part. Let's deal with that love.
Come on.
That's the part we're getting ready to deal with right now. And he says, these things that I have spoken unto you, that my joy, I can't see, might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. So first thing he deals with is first the commandment, the authority or the decree he speaks. Can I tell y'all this? The decree will not always come straight out of the word by way of chapter and verse.
Come on.
It won't always just be logos. It won't even just be rhema. It would be revelation. So sometimes God will speak directly to you, the decree of thing that you can't find in the word.
Right.
And I know we use it, and I think that's what bothers me. Maybe I'm just different, and maybe I'm weird, and maybe people think I'm crazy. But people be saying, anything you need, you can find in the Word of God. There are some things you will not find in the Word. It has to come by way of revelation. Y'all listen to me. There's some things that God did not release in the Word because it was not necessary, because He needed you to be able to depend on His voice when you couldn't see it in His Word.
Come on.
And I know folks are deep and say you got to back everything with the Word, but you may not be able to back it with the Word. You may not be able to have a scripture for it. All I know is God said it. That's all I know. All I know is God told me, and when He spoke it, it did something in my spirit and woke me up. I can't give you no scripture on it, but I can give you some evidence that when I trusted what He said, it had to happen. When He said it, God help me.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
God gives us guidelines and God gives us principles, but there's some things I just won't be able to find. I don't have the answer about when I want to quit. I can't find it in there. I found some good scriptures, but when I'm down to God, I don't even know how to express it. I don't have no way to even articulate it. And I know some of y'all are profound and y'all got it all together, and no matter what happens, you can quote Bible scripture verses until Jesus comes up, and still there's no power. For the letter, it killeth, but the spirit, it gives life. I can speak that word all day long, but if the Spirit of the Lord doesn't give me some prompt to, if the Spirit of the Lord doesn't awaken it and resurrect it, if the Spirit of the Lord does not quicken it, then I know, God, it won't happen.
Yes.
I know a lot of folks like Louis Farrakhan can quote scripture. He's one of the most prolific orators you would ever find.
Yes.
They're not going to start talking about. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Whether we like the religion or not, whether we agree with him or not, he says some stuff that is so profound. I can't help he's got it out there based on our people, because our culture made that.
Right. That's true.
We won't let nothing go. We think we deserve everything based on what has happened to us. We're not the only culture that has ever had a bad day. We're not the only ones that have been in prison or enslaved. We're not the only ones. You hear what I'm saying? Our own people enslaved us. Doggone it. Let's get the record straight. At some point, we got to depend on God. I can't depend on somebody giving me something about what happened to me years past. They'll never give it to me. But my God will vindicate me. He may never pay me for what they've done to me.
Right.
They pay other cultures. They'll never pay us.
No.
We are a threat to them.
Real talk.
If you really get a black man or a black woman with some sense, and they take that money and they know what to do with it, they're a threat, baby. Forbes just gave in entertainment in history.
Wow.
Don't be looking at me like that. Forbes said. I'm still trying to figure out how he got there. I'm still wondering if it's really real. But whether it's real or not, the truth of the matter is he's made history. And when you got money like that and your mind ain't right, people try to figure out how you got there. But just because I'm crazy don't mean I don't know how to make money.
Come on, preacher.
And your definition of crazy ain't my definition of crazy.
Real talk.
That's it.
I'm living in my real world whether you accept it or not. So if someone that's not really fully walking in the kid and his little bump into God don't mean nothing to me. See, other people get excited about stuff like that, but it's no different than Mace to me when he became a pastor and he was going to do things for God. And that church lasted 2.5 seconds because the reality of it is nobody ever introduced you to God. How did you get there? Through a gospel song?
Come on.
Because you would have made some more money on entertainment because you wasn't relevant?
Come on.
They got so many rappers out here now, Dub Baby, Lil Baby, My Baby, Yo Baby, Bubba Baby, Baby Baby. They don't make money off of lyrics anymore. They make money off of beats and videos and movies.
Come on. Yes, they do.
That spit out lies.
Yes,
That is nothing but some facade. That's nothing but some fantasy.
Yes.
And because these young generations buy into it, because this
Yes.
generation is about videos and texting and gaming and being independent. And women now is I got my own thing. I don't need. I'm my own beat. Oh, I mean, I could go there if I want to. And the whole flashback, no pushback on Carter and Megan is only because they're making money based on what was exploited for years. And that's that sexual content because everything's about sex. Toothpaste commercials, cars, everything. If you really want to sell something, put a pretty woman in something with nothing hardly on in it.
They're going to buy. They're going to buy. They'll buy.
Women have been exploited, and now because they're taking some independence, they have their own money and use what you exploited. Now you mad?
Yeah.
They don't want to be friends. Oh, you got quiet because I'm just saying.
We
I'm just saying,
listen.
church. The church did the same thing. I know y'all might get upset with me about what I'm about to
Go
say.
ahead,
And
preacher.
these whoever might be watching.
We got you.
But the church did the same thing with the women of God. They made them cook the spaghetti dinners, but wouldn't let them in the pulpit. They made them have services, but wouldn't let them preach. They would put the little podium down on the floor. You can't get up here. See, that's where the men stand. You can't get up here. That's sacred. Only the men can stand up here. You got to come down here because what it was really saying is you are lower than what I am.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
That's
The
what they were
subliminal was you can't be up here because you're not equal to who I am in the things of God. So I'm going to sit you down here and you can out-preach me, but you can't take over my pulpit. Because as long as I'm up here, I have control.
Jesus.
They told them how to dress, but still was screwing them in the doggone office.
Yes. Come on, Chief.
Girl, you need to drop that. You're showing too much cleavage. You need to pull that down. You can't wear them pants. You got to take off that makeup and make you look too sexy. You're a Jezebel. They did all that and exploited women, but they also used women to build their church. Y'all look at me really funny. And the world didn't get it from the world. The world got it from the church. The devil duplicates whatever God does.
Yes, he
If
do.
you think the devil has an original idea, you are sadly mistaken. Woo, child, that's new. Rapping ain't never been new. Quartets was doing that.
Yes, they were.
Exactly.
Yes, they were.
The problem, you know what the problem is with the church? I'm going to just say it and be on record. The problem is with the church, we have an idea, but we can't perfect it.
Ah.
Oh, God. That's good.
We want to lock our people into a certain realm or way of doing things. God forbid if the man of God who's the minister of music hit a key you don't like because, man, that sounds like the word. Oh, my God. Where did he get that from? The world will take a chord that he would play and make it better and perfect it and make music, and we still hunky-dory trying to figure out how to do it because you don't like where a chord went, but you tapped your foot. Come on.
Yeah. Thank you, Father.
Tap that foot, mother. That which is imposed on you, that which is put on you. Then he says, but remain in my love. 4 forms of love.
Uh-huh.
It's 4 forms of love. No matter how you look at it, there are 4 forms we operate when it comes to love. So we're about to find out, how deep is your love? How deep is your love?
Uh-oh.
How deep is your
Hey.
love? How deep is your love? Oh, you can clap. I'll never be on beat. 4 forms, 4 forms. And I'm going to say something that blew my mind when God revealed it to me. 4 forms. They are eros, or eros. I think it's eros. Yes, eros. Thank you, Bishop. Please help. Eros. And it's storge, I think it is. It's something to that effect. Philia, I know that's right. And agape.
Uh-oh.
So there's eros, storge, which is the second. Philia, P-H-I-L-L-A-I-A. Storage is, it's almost like storage, S-T-O-R-G-E. So storage, Greek has funny symbolism to it. I don't have the pronunciation, but anyway, philia and agape.
Yes, sir. Teach, sir.
Eros is that which is romantic.
Yes.
It is a sensual attraction. So I can be eros towards you, but not love you.
Right.
It is a form of love that is simply romantic.
Right.
So you can see something you like because it has a certain hip span or muscle bulge. It's something that attracted to you, that arouses in you your sexuality.
Right.
And I know y'all don't have sex because y'all saved and single. That sounds really good. That's beautiful. I know you're sanctified and that don't come to mind. You don't have no dream. You ain't feeling nothing. You don't have no moments where you get a little heated. I ain't talking about no hot summers either. I'm talking about that moment when you need that arm and you want that release. Y'all looking at me real strange right now. But it takes place because there's something about a release when you interact with somebody romantically because God built you like that. And I want church folks to stop acting like sex is a doggone bad word. It is not. It is one of the most beautiful things that can happen in your life. Outside of being raped or violated, when it is done correctly, when it is with the right person, it is something that's beautiful for your life. And you can't, that's why God put a law on it. Y'all make me sick. And you didn't know fornication was wrong until you got saved. I wish God would wake up. Come on, church. You didn't know, hey, sleeping with that ain't wrong, child. If you knew what I got last night, boy, he put it on me. The toes curled, I was all over the place. Y'all didn't know, maybe y'all don't know about that. The truth of the matter is, it was not wrong to you because there was no law over you to decree that it was. We saved and have trouble with that area.
That's right.
Oh, y'all make me sick. What you think will happen when you don't know God? And there is no law over you to keep you from doing it.
That part.
Because it's not wrong to you.
Yes, Lord.
So while the church is all thrown back, child, they doing orgies. Orgy ain't wrong to me when there's no law over me telling me that that orgy is wrong. Y'all ain't cussing wrong.
Right.
I didn't know cussing was wrong until the law said, don't cuss. I didn't see it in the word, but it came from somebody. Somebody interjected it there some kind of way. I didn't know that if that pen belongs to an apostle and I want it and I sneak it, and she's looking for it, and I'm standing by her acting like I don't know what's going on. You want to search me? Search me. I'm like, what you doing? You can have it right on you, but you won't admit you got it because you want it. But it's not wrong to you. Innately, you know that you don't supposed to be doing that. You know, in you know, but you don't have a law that commands you or guides you not to do it. Because though I know it's wrong, to me it is not wrong because there's no law that holds me to it. That is wrong. So if there was no stop sign out there, every time I went past it, if there's no law to back up the sign, then the sign is no good. The sign is only good based on the law that's on the books. And the book or the law on the book says, do not pass this sign. You have to come to a complete and full stop. Not a roll, not a kind of tap the brakes and keep going. A full and complete stop is the way the law reads. And the law has power based on what's on the books. So you cannot decree a thing over me if you don't have no authority to back what you just said. So to me, it ain't wrong. So God tells you to flee it because he put a law in place that says the only ones that have a right to it are those that are married as husband and wife. Not as man and man or wife and wife or whatever they want to put in place. I ain't knocking them. Hey, do your thing. But the truth of the matter is, it's not God's law. And God's perfect law says, in order for you to enjoy what I said to do, you must first be joined in covenant, because without covenant, it ain't no good anyway, and you're just transferring fluid. There is no joining to one another, because it's deeper than what you think. No wonder you're having trouble with yourself. You done left that, almost said that word a long time ago, and you still fighting and struggling, because what happened when they released, they didn't just release themselves, they released them spirits in you, and now you still battling with it, because you came from under the law, and the law says don't do it, and when you do it, for the wages of sin, it is death.
Come on. Yeah.
But why am I preaching like this? Like I done got old. But the gift of God is eternal life. So I'm not trying to stop you from getting your groove on. I'm trying to keep you from dying.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. That's right.
And if you, can I say this, please? And if you never get the right one, you can't miss what you never had.
Right.
Stay saying, baby, you can't miss what you can't help. You the family of some knucklehead. Just stay right where you are, because it ain't gonna be good for you anyway, because they're not gonna know how to handle what you never had.
Right. You talking right, sir.
We want it, but we can't handle it. Most men would rather have a virgin, because now that's mine. I can, y'all on it. That's eros. That's what eros is. It has nothing to do with God's love. It has to do with what is built in you for attraction. So that's not God's highest form.
No, it's not.
Eros. Somebody say eros. It's a sex thing. It's a romantic thing. It's an erotic thing. It is what I feel when I look in your eyes, and I don't even know you. There's a certain tension between you. And if you don't check it, you'll be in trouble.
Yes, you will.
And it don't happen only to singles, it happen to married
That's
folks
right.
as well.
Yes, it
Let's
will.
kill this demon now.
That's right. Kill it.
They'll see something they know they ain't got no business looking at,
That's right.
and they are attracted to it, and if they don't kill it,
That's right.
Right. That part.
Come on,
they'll
Chief.
find themselves in an affair. Thank you so much.
Come on, Chief. All right, Corbin, see you.
And the only thing you're attracted to is what you lay next to. You're a lying wonder.
Yeah,
Because we all go through it. That's eros.
that's right. Help us. Help us.
And if we were real with one another, it'll keep us in out of a whole lot of trouble. When I had a moment today, they said something to me, and I just want to share it with you. Not because I want to be unfaithful, but there's a certain level of trust I should have with you. That you're my all in all, but I got to share this with you.
Come on.
Because you're supposed to protect me.
That's right. Help us. You right? You talking right?
If 9 minutes, Jesus.
Yeah, but you go ahead. Keep on.
If you're not real, and even if you can't tell them, if you're not real with you,
That's right.
That's it.
That's right. It's done.
if you're not real with you, you're going to be in so much trouble with yourself. Ain't nothing going to be able to save it, because you won't be real with you. You so busy trying to make the other thing be something you want your wife or husband to be, that you chase after that, when all of the time God says, I'll make that what you got in your heart, whatever you want, if you but listen. You don't need that anyway. That's your own fantasy.
That's it.
Pornography is about fantasy.
That's it.
Come on, preacher.
Eros. The whole pornographic system, billions of dollars is built on, somebody said, Eros. Fantasy. Second form, I ain't gonna get through this, I already see
Yeah,
it.
come on with it.
It is storge, which is family love. That's why you ain't gonna mess with my family. That's that love. That's that thing that we have some kind of bond and kinship together that says, because you are in the same bloodline. No matter how far off it is, you could be my 10th cousin, but if you're in my bloodline, I'm not gonna let nobody mess with you, because you're my family. I'm loving you like that. I don't even like some of my kinfolk. I don't even want them to come to the family reunion, but they might. They act a fool, they won't do right, they get drunk, get high, cuss, talk want to put their hands on, we family, but that's mine. You know, I'm not going to let you talk about my family. That's crazy. And some folks are in kingdom. You better not say one word or do nothing concerning who they are, because we fight. And I ain't talking about in the spirit. We fight. That is extortion. They are my family. They've been with me when nobody else would be there. They understand me when nobody else understands me. They like me when I'm not even likable. They know who I am. They know my days when I'm up and when I'm down. Because there is a closeness that should be there as family. You should be able to tap in when I'm having a bad day.
Come on.
And just because outside folks don't understand it does not give them the right to even talk on it.
Right.
You don't even have a right to have an opinion about it. The kind of family we talk about, anybody mess with y'all, they don't have an opinion on why y'all get to play here. Y'all, why y'all looking at me? Don't be quiet now. They don't have a right. Why did Apostle put them in place? And what happened to that one? And why this one can't sing no more? Because family knows how mama is.
Better believe that.
Storage. So that means that if, when it starts going down, if you can't stick with me through the hardest times, you weren't family in the first place. You were a visitor. You hung out. You called me uncle, but we ain't no kin.
Right.
You know, they do that on job. Hey, I ain't your uncle. I don't even know your daddy. Or your mom.
Woo!
No, Mr. L or Chef, but I ain't your uncle. No, I don't know you. I don't know what you would do, and if you pop off wrong, a real uncle will check you. If you pop off some days on me, make me want to bust you upside your head.
Right. They ain't ready.
Some of us, if we be honest, we're more afraid of our uncles than we were about that. Because the uncle didn't play. My Uncle Randy was crazy, but he didn't play. He rode a bicycle, jump as a fish. He didn't care. Flipped the bike, bust all his teeth out, didn't come talk about it, laugh into my bed. I was just on the highway. Uncle Randy, you drunk? Yeah, I'm drunk. Nephew, let me ask you a question. When you get back, what you say you did that again? I said, I'm in Virginia, Uncle Randy. Well, when you get back, I need to do me a favor. What you want me to do? Anything for you? Can you email me a 6-pack? Crazy.
Right.
Nuts. But mine.
But mine. That part. That part, he yours.
You better not. I can talk about it. That's my blood.
But you bank.
Can I give you another one? Even those that have adopted are mine.
That's right. That you better know.
If I say you my family, you mine. You might as well have the same bloodline. And I'm going to protect what's mine. That's
Right.
But it's still not the highest form
Come on.
of God's love.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
As much as you will fight for it, it's still not the highest form
No.
of God's love. Not if we don't be friends. The third one is filial, which is a brotherly love, like we have among the church. Hey, brother. What's up, sister? Hey, sis. Now, if I say sis to you, it means something totally different. All right, sis. Okay, sis. Yeah, sis. How that worked out for you, sis? If I ever say to my wife, she'd be ready to beat me up. But she know the true definition when I say it. Okay, sis. And that worked out for you, sis. Sis. What I use for the brother, I can't say no more because y'all told me I could. I'll be like, please. What? No. How did that work out for you? You know. In my private times. Sometimes in my public times too, but hey, I digress. But can we be friends? Brotherly love. That if you hear something that happens to someone you really don't know. We didn't know Apostle Frederick Casey Price like that, but he was a brother in the kingdom. So when he transitioned, it bothered us. Right. It did something to us because there's a kinsmanship, there's a brotherly fellowship. And brother has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with the position and the authority in which we operate in. We only use gender titles as brother and sister based on we're trying to differentiate between whether you have breast and butt and I have, chest and, that's all that is. That's all. You're a woman, I'm a man, so I call you sister. That's where we got elders from, which there's no such thing, or deaconess. You're a deaconess because we got to make sure that people know you're a woman. You're a deacon.
Right.
We know you're a woman. I can see that.
At the end of the day.
Yeah. That's why there's such this debate about bishop. Can women be bishops?
Right.
Because they're attacking gender. And they're trying to look on the surface of what's being said and not the guideline of what God was saying. That if any man, because man was not a gender.
Right.
Man had nothing to do with the gender. It had to do what God had created. He says, and he created male and female, and he called them Adam.
That's right.
Which was man.
That's right.
They were on equal authority at that time.
Right.
Let me help y'all with that. And the equal authority was based on what God had created. But because man fell, the authority shifted. God had to hold somebody accountable that he could come to give him an answer. And he wasn't coming to what he created second because he gave the command to Adam first.
Right.
That's good.
And she was not even known to be Eve till after the fall.
Right. Then he called.
The church done messed it up. Yeah. He says, she's going to my bone, flesh of my flesh. What she's going to be called is woman. The one that carries the womb that births life is the man that can hold it. Because man can't.
Right.
But woman can. And so now, after the fall, he says, she will be the mother of all living, and I shall call her name Eve. Because at the end of it all, she's the one that comes out of. It's the Eve of it. At the end of it, the Eve. Something that crests, something that is finality speaks of where it came from. Man cannot come into earth except through a woman. And that's why you got to be careful who you are in covenant with, especially with a male, because you have birthed something that God never wanted to come into earth. Natural or spiritual.
Good, sir.
Finally, agape.
Come on.
Because even philia, the brotherly love we feel, is not the highest form.
Come on.
It is God's, thank you, divine love in his highest form. I'm going to have to close this and pick it up because this is the part I want to get to is this next verse that's coming up. And it says, verse 12, this is my commandment that ye love one another as I have loved you. So if I'm going to love you, I got to love you with God's love.
Yeah.
The agape love has nothing to do with how I feel about you.
Come on, preacher. Come on.
No matter how mad you make me, I still gotta love you.
Yes.
Because it has nothing to do with how I feel. No matter how you hurt me or betrayed me or violated me or did me.
Hey.
All the stuff we use because we want to abandon the love we're supposed to have for one another. You walk out on me, but I gotta still love you. Because God love says that no matter what takes place, my highest form is I still love you. In good times.
Yes.
In bad times.
Yes. Glory.
You can always count on me.
Yes, sir.
Deion Ward said that's what friends are for. He said if I'm gone, something to that effect, if I'm gone and you don't see it, just keep smiling. Just keep shining.
Yes.
Just know you can always. Because even folks that have walked out of my life and broke my heart, if they need me and I'm operating in God's love, I got to be there because our history says you didn't understand our love, but I did. It's a hard word because it means anything that broke my heart means if they really need me. I'm not playing no games. But you hurt me, but I'm going to help you.
Yes.
You may not have the same access, but I will be there for you.
You talking real good, Chief.
You may not come to dinner after it's all over. We might not be pen pals and it can't go back to where it was, but I'll never let you be in a position where I have the ability to help you. I have the ability to bring deliverance in your life. I have the ability to bring healing and not show God's love towards you. Forget I'll never do it again, then you haven't experienced agape.
Come on.
You are not mature enough to walk in agape. You can have sex, you can have family, and you can have your brother, your see, games are built on philia and storge because it is a brother, it's a family. But they don't know what it means to be there because I've been locked up with Bloods and Crips and all of these cats that come out, I'm there for your boy. As soon as one guy jump them, and you're a blood, you know, they back off and let you get your tail tore up when they're supposed to jump in, even if it costs them getting thrown in the hole. So you don't know what it means to be there for me when I'm in a tight because you are not God's highest form of love.
Oh.
When you don't know God's highest form of love, it's easy to abandon somebody you say you are faithful to.
Come on.
Who you say you are in alliance to, you will abandon them if you do not operate in agape love. And he says, if my commandment is in you, if my love, how I have loved you, then you should be able to love those that are with you. He finally says, I gotta say it because this was my point, doggone it, and I'm over again. He says, greater love hath no man.
No man.
He's talking as Jesus the man. And he says, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. The word friend comes from philos, which means love or something that's dear. It's a term of endearment. So if I say, that's my friend, I'm saying she's dear to me. There's a love I have about that's my friend, you know, that's my friend.
Right.
Ain't got to be best friends or who's your BFF. See, we be best friends. I used to get a little jealous when my wife say, you know, that's my best friend. I said, well, I thought I was your best friend.
Right.
But see, we try to define something based on a man's definition. Not based on what God said. God never said that she had to be my best friend. My term of endearment towards her is my friend goes higher than comrade, buddy, stick. It's love, but it's a different type of love, and it holds a different definition in her life. And if you are jealous because you cannot define where you belong, you will always be in this whirlwind of trying to prove I'm just as good as they are. Don't make me sick. So now, when you're supposed to have friends, you try to categorize who's who.
My God.
And if I'm not giving you enough attention as my friend, you will get jealous because you don't know your place.
Right. Come on.
You have not rightfully defined where you belong.
Stay safe.
You got to know that, yeah, you're my friend, but this is my friend.
Right.
So no matter how close you and I are, or you and I are, or you and I are, you won't get as close as she and I am because I know my position in her life. So I don't get jealous. You mind if we go kick it? You mind if I go with the girls? You mind? Go, please go.
See you later.
Enjoy yourself. Because if we don't trust each other beyond the borders of our house, we don't have a marriage. Dog, y'all ain't talking. And if I can't trust you out of sight, out of mind, then I'm going to be crazy that I have not rightfully defined the agape that is in our life. No greater love than this. A friend, which is heteros, or heteros, I know that's right. It is a comrade. It is a person or companion. A person, listen to me, friend, a person with whom one is allied in a struggle or a cause. So if you're my friend, you got to know that when I'm in struggle, you there.
Right.
Whatever I'm going to stand up for, I'm standing with you. So when the pastor says, we going to do X, Y, and Z, we got your back, pastor, I'm with you. I'm standing there. And then when we get in the midst of it, I can't find you because you got ghosts. Don't you ever tell me you're my friend. You are, see, people abandon ship just before greatness happens.
That's true.
It's been like, what, 6 years now? Almost 6 years we've been, how long we been here? It's been 6 years now. It's kind of crazy to think of the ones that are still around for the whole entire 6 years. at somebody and say, don't abandon ship now, baby. You about to be rewarded.
Now to reward.
Okay, so,
Huh?
Lord have mercy.
Three times that word came.
okay, so.
Listen.
A man's definition of love is a deep, tender, infallible feeling of an affection and solicitude toward a person, such as arising from kinship, recognition, or attractive qualities, or a sense of underlying oneness. I'm going to make this statement. Jesus says, no man, I got to pick this up some other time, because I got to talk about joy. Jesus says, no man, no greater love than this, than a man that will lay down his life for his friends. This statement, when Jesus spoke it to me, it blew my mind, and I want to say it, because it is the true definition of friendship. Remember I told you, friendship, sonship, servanthood. He says in the Bible that the greatest among you is the servant.
Right.
That's kind of self-explanatory. I call it the servant's oil. There is a certain honor in serving.
Yes.
There's something that goes with that, because it means I submit my. See, servanthood ain't somebody that's a flunky.
Right.
It means I submit to your authority,
Yes.
your will, whatever you want. I got you.
Yes.
You want your shoes be put on? I'm putting them on. Not because you can't put them on yourself,
Right.
but there is a certain oil on me to make you comfortable.
Right.
Yes.
Everybody can't touch your feet.
Come on.
Everybody can't carry your bag. Everybody can't bring you water.
Right.
Everybody can't be in with you when you're changing, see you exposed and fully naked, and be able to handle certain parts of you. See, that's why we're careful about who goes in the office
That's right.
when you change.
Come on. Come on. That's right.
You may not be able to handle certain scars or what's out of place or what you're looking at. You might have a spirit on you. You might be looking at my butt, and I need you to just help me when I'm putting my clothes on, and you having fantasies about what you're getting ready to do. No, I can't have you with me.
Right.
And if you think I can't pick up on it, you're what? Now I wonder, because I can't.
Come on, preacher. That's right.
Real talk.
So servanthood means to submit to. So when you serve, you do it because it's your heart. You can't teach people to serve.
No, you can't. You can't.
You can give them guidelines and principles, but you can't teach them. It takes a heart to serve.
That's it. That's
It takes
it.
a heart to serve. I said it takes a heart to serve.
Yeah.
And all this little group right here, right now, this little group that remained, when I tell you the blessings of the Lord, you about to be rewarded.
Nah.
Because you stuck it out through rebuke, you stuck it out through getting cussed at. I don't know if I cussed at y'all yet. I did cuss at Elder Shamita though. I cussed at her when she lived with her and she was in tears because I went in.
You cussed at me, sir. You cussed at me.
I have cussed at you.
Yeah.
They survived.
I got fired 5 times.
No, you ain't got to block it out. It's the truth. And they remain.
They remain.
Because sometimes humanity can override your sins.
That's right.
Because though I did it, doesn't mean it was right. So let me clear that up.
Right.
It is not acceptable. Because we run people rescue. He did that. He couldn't have it. He was human. But it ain't acceptable.
Right.
Because God was human.
That's right. That's right.
What? So, here's a thought. If God is my friend, he laid his life down for me. He esteemed our friendship above his sonship. No greater love than this, than a man who will lay down his life for his friends. He laid his life down, which tells me, because I am his friend, he esteemed our friendship above his sonship.
My God.
I'll say it one more time.
Say it again.
He esteemed our friendship above his sonship. He died because of how he loved me.
My God.
And he said, I'm going to prove I'm your friend because I'm going to lay. What are you willing to lay down? If we going to be friends, and I tell you that bothers me, well, child, that's just how I am. Well, we can't be friends. Because I don't want to do anything that's going to affect our friendship, so I lay it down.
Right.
Or whatever that might be. I don't like to, don't talk to me like that. We cool and all. But no, I wouldn't disrespect to talk to you like that.
Right.
I'm talking about us. I can't be there were certain tones and way that I would talk.
You should know.
Yeah. And so when I said it, if it bothered you, then I must change. Whatever happened to people changing?
That's it.
They don't want it.
A change come over me.
Uh-oh.
Yes, sir.
A change.
Oh, God. Oh,
You know
God.
a good time.
Yes, sir.
Y'all ain't gonna bait me.
Oh, Jesus.
Can we? We haven't even got the joy.
Yes, God. Yes, God.
So if Jesus gives the definition of friendship by laying your life down for them, this makes you evaluate who really are friends. And the truth of the matter is, you shouldn't have a whole lot of them.
Right.
Wow.
Child, I got a bunch of friends. I was watching, and I closed. That was my first time seeing it, right? Good.
Yes, sir.
I'm getting better.
Thank you.
I'm getting better, y'all. Because I'm going international, and I got to, you got a certain platform. I'm trying to get there on that stage. There was some guys, it's a poker tournament that I was watching on television. And the guy says, he is a professional best friend. He ain't really their friend like that. He just with them, whatever. Like, hey man, can you go run and get me a Red Bull? Hey, I got you, buddy. He would go run because the person he's getting it for is a celebrity.
Right.
The poker world is big. Y'all wouldn't know nothing about it, but it's big, billions of dollars. And this particular guy is friends with like Tiger Woods and different guys. Like when Tiger Woods has his poker tournaments for charity. But he always seemed to be right where the big wigs are. Not because he knows them like that, but because he's a professional best friend. Oh, I got a lot of friends. Then you don't have real friends.
Right.
Well, that's just my acquaintance. Acquaintance is a friend.
Right.
By definition. By definition, acquaintances are friends. By definition.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I say they're not even my acquaintances. They may have a coworker. I'm aware of them. I know about them. I don't know. So you have to now change your perspective on what's a friend.
That's good, sir.
You should not have many of them.
Right. Right.
That's
Right.
right.
The truth be told, you probably have one real friend. You probably have just one real, I say one real friend. We may be family, maybe lovers, but one real friend. And we ain't gonna get this debate where your husband should be your friend, I'm not talking about all that stuff. See, I done gone past that. I used to be immature and it used to bother me. That don't bother me no more.
Thank you.
Because I sleep in the bed with you, so that could be your best buddy and everything else. I wouldn't care.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you got to come back home.
Right.
You might not even like me, but at least you're still there.
Right.
I ain't never talking to you. I ain't want to hear what you had to say anyway. Tell it to your best friend. And then we'll talk in the morning. I'm just teasing. My wife, I aggravate. When I don't aggravate her, she wonders what's wrong with me.
Right.
What's wrong with you? You got an attitude? You really did that. You get on my nerves, you aggravate me, but you're not. You're brother. Just the aggravation part that you were acting with. Not love. Got to do with love.
I'm still in the dog.
You do.
Whoa.
I call it a place of K9.
That's
K9 spirit jump on.
right.
You good. I don't even have a couch. I just have a love seat. It's like poetic justice. I would be sitting there with you, but I'm not. You're all by yourself. So watch all the TV you want. Just don't bother me.
Right, brother.
Women rough, boy. God knew what he was doing. I think it was a joke. He knew what he was doing. Keep us in check now.
Yeah.
He knew. Cause why Adam ain't biting? Why the servant should talk to Adam? No, he ain't just the woman. God knew. She opened her mouth, we listen. Whether it's good for us or not. Here, take this. What is it, baby? Just eat it. Don't ask me no questions. It's good for you. You're going too fast. Don't you run that light. Well, what you want for dinner? You need to make a decision. What I want? Well, you need to figure it out. You know, checkers.
Check,
It
check.
took too long. You procrastinate.
Come on.
That's just a spirit in cell in men.
Jesus.
We've been fighting it for days.
Deliver, Lord.
You know my
Deliver me.